mammoth sandwich. First, let's make sure we have all our ingredients. You will need 3 slices of bread, whichever meat and vegetables you require as per the recipe. Here we're going to use eggs, chicken, bacon, ham, tomato slices, cucumber slices and cheese, butter and mayonnaise. Now let's see the different equipment that you will need. A toaster, a white color chopping board, a bread knife and a deep fat fryer. Now we're all set to make a delicious club sandwich. First, place the 3 slices of bread in a toaster or salamander. Put it on a medium setting. You want your bread to turn golden, not brown. Take 2 of your 3 slices and apply mayonnaise on each of them. This is the slice that will go in the middle of your club sandwich. Now on the 3rd slice, apply mayonnaise. These 2 slices will form the top and the bottom of your sandwich. Take one of the slices on which mayonnaise has been applied. Place a lettuce leaf on the mayo, like so. Arrange the tomato slices Arrange the cucumber slices Arrange the onion rings. Season with salt and pepper. And cheese on it. Next, take the buttered slice and add cooked chicken. Now add fried egg. It's time to put the sandwich together. Top it up with a final slice of bread. Pierce each of the 4 pieces with a toothpick each. This is to ensure that the contents of the sandwich don't spill out. Now using the bread knife, cut off the edges of the sandwich carefully and neatly. Very, very neatly. Cut the sandwich into half diagonally so that you get 2 big triangles. Then cut it again in the opposite direction. So that you get 4 small triangles. This makes it easier to eat. Arrange the pieces attractively in a plate and serve them up with accompaniments as per the menu. Generally, club sandwiches are served with coleslaw, French fries, potato wedges, or mayonnaise. Club sandwiches are served hot, so make sure that yours gets out on time. Does the extra layer make it difficult to remember? Don't worry, here's a quick recap on how to prepare a club sandwich. Now it's time to learn about grilled sandwiches. These sandwiches are stuffed with delicious meats and veggies and then grilled in a sandwich griller. This gives the sandwich oozing warmth and a satisfying crunch. A sure shot recipe for success. Let us have a look at the ingredients that you will require. 2 slices of bread, filling as per your choice. For this recipe, we're going to use bacon, cheese and veggies, butter and mayonnaise. Now for the equipment. You will need a sandwich griller, a wide chopping board, a bread knife and a deep fat fryer. Now we're all set to start making that grilled sandwich. Let us first put the cut potatoes in the deep fat fryer. Take the 2 slices of bread and place them on the wide chopping board. Apply mayonnaise to one side of both the slices. Now arrange the filling on one slice. Make sure that you do this neatly and carefully. Keep in mind that you shouldn't use leafy vegetables with high water content, or the grilling process will make it soggy. Place the second slice on top of the first one and close the sandwich. Next, you need to butter the sandwich from the outside. But don't use too much. It is just to grease the sandwich a little so that it doesn't stick in the sandwich griller. After that, place the sandwich in the griller and allow it to grill for about 3 to 4 minutes at a temperature of 140 to 150 degrees Celsius. However, some customers may want it less or more grilled, so you may need to use your own judgment. Remove the sandwich from the griller once it's done. Trim the edges. Cut the sandwich into half diagonally. Place the sandwich in a plate and serve it with accompaniments as per the menu. Serve hot. Haven't gotten down all the steps, is it? So here they are once again. Some other type of sandwiches are tea sandwich. These are delicate little sandwiches cut into bite-sized pieces and with the crusts removed. French sandwich. They are prepared by using the traditional long French loaf. The loaf is cut into half horizontally and stuffed with filling. Now I have a very interesting sandwich for you. Pinwheel sandwiches are not only a delight to look at, but they also taste delicious. Loaf sandwiches are made with long loaves of bread. Ribbon sandwiches are many layered sandwiches that use colorful contrast. Sometimes even breads of contrasting colors are also used. Open-faced sandwiches use only one slice of well-toasted bread. The filling is topped over this bread and the sandwich may be cooked in the oven. Canapes are bite-sized delicacies that can be cut into little circles, squares, or even shapes like stars. The toppings are placed on top. Are you having trouble distinguishing a ribbon sandwich from a grilled one? Don't get your shots in a twist. Let's have a look at all the different types once again. We have the basic closed sandwich, the tea sandwich, the club sandwich, the grilled sandwich, the French sandwich, the pinwheel, the loaf, the ribbon, the open-faced sandwich, and canapes. But before you put on your aprons, there are some things that you should keep in mind while preparing sandwiches. There are hot sandwiches and cold sandwiches. Make sure that you know the difference and send the hot sandwiches to the customers before they lose their heat. Some sandwiches require you to cut off the crusts. Make sure that this is done very neatly to show off the beautiful layers in your sandwich. This is a very important part of the presentation. The process of grilling extracts the water from the veggies and makes the bread go soggy. Hence, it is advisable to avoid leafy vegetables which have high water content. Cucumbers, tomatoes, and lettuce should be used sparingly. So, my dear friends, before we start with the preparation of an omelette, let us first understand what exactly constitutes an omelette. An omelette is a dish made from beaten eggs quickly cooked with butter or oil in a frying pan, mostly folded and at times flat. But the obvious question is, how is an omelette formed from an egg? An omelette is formed by the action of heat. When egg albumin or protein comes in contact with heat, it coagulates or changes form from liquid to solid to form a soft mass. This could then be stuffed with endless toppings like onions, tomatoes, green chilies, capsicum, mushroom, chicken, bacon to make an omelette. To make a great omelette, here is what you need: some beaten eggs, toppings of your choice, a bit of olive oil or refined oil, some white pepper, and finally salt to taste. Let's set aside the tools that we're going to use: a gas range to cook on, a non-stick pan to make sure your omelette doesn't stick, a flat wooden spoon, a steel bowl to beat the eggs in, and a fork or a whisk. Here is a quick recap of the tools and ingredients before we move on to the procedure. Cool! Looks like you have all the ingredients and tools with you. Let's get started with the preparation procedure then. First, break the egg in a steel bowl and add toppings of your choice. Beat it till the yolk is mixed properly. But be careful, don't overbeat the eggs. Then light the gas range and place the non-stick pan on it. Moderately heat the pan, add fat and heat it. Add the beaten eggs and stir continuously. As soon as coagulation starts, that is, as soon as the egg starts to set, start folding. You may fold it in a half or a crescent shape. Once you've finished folding, serve the omelette with grilled tomatoes or hash brown potatoes. Before going ahead, let us take a quick look at the steps once more. That was quick and easy, right? Such a simple process to make such a yummy and healthy snack. Let us quickly summarize all our learning so it is never forgotten. Omelettes are made from eggs through a process of heating and coagulation. Many toppings can be stuffed in an omelette to make it interesting and different. Omelettes can be folded into half or a crescent shape or can be served flat. Omelettes can be served with grilled tomatoes and hash brown potatoes. Before we begin cooking, let me give you a few tips that I know about fried eggs. Be careful not to break the yolk when breaking the egg open. It's an art, I can tell you that. Another thing is, eggs should be fried on moderate heat, causing the white liquid, which is called albumin, to come together or coagulate properly. Apart from this, there are two basic ways in which you can fry eggs: sunny side up and over easy. Cooking the egg on only one side is called sunny side up or half fried. However, if you flip the egg and cook it on both sides, it is called over easy. The level of doneness can range from between soft, medium and hard. All this chit-chat about fried eggs is making me hungry. Let's get cooking. First, let's set aside the tools that we're going to use. a gas range, a non-stick frying pan, a flat wooden spoon, and a steel bowl. Now let's see what ingredients we require. A few whole eggs and a few tablespoons of oil. With all that in place, we are ready to begin cooking. Hats on, chefs! First, you must light the gas range. Place a non-stick frying pan on the gas and allow it to heat up. In the meantime, break your eggs into a bowl. Be careful not to break the yolk. Now pour some oil to grease the bottom of the hot pan. Allow the oil to heat up. Next, tip the contents of the bowl into the pan very slowly and carefully. The eggs will immediately start to sizzle and fry. Once again, let me remind you not to allow the yolks to split. Cook the eggs as per the requirements. If you need it fried sunny side up, remember to cook it only on one side. But if you need it over easy, you will need to flip the egg over and cook it on the other side too. In terms of doneness, soft eggs need to be cooked until they just start to solidify. Medium fried eggs would need to stay on the pan for a bit longer. And for hard fried eggs, you need to allow them to brown well before serving them up. And that's it. Plate the egg up and serve it with accompaniments. Usually fried eggs are served with grilled tomatoes and hash brown potatoes. Now you know how to transform a simple fried egg into a meal fit for a king. Let's quickly review the entire process, just so we're sure that we haven't missed anything. Before you hurry into the kitchen, I have a few cautionary instructions. One of the biggest joys of a fried egg is the beautiful golden yolk. Plus, keeping the yolk intact goes a very long way in helping the presentation. Hot oil tends to sizzle and pop. Make sure that you pour your ingredients in very carefully. Splashing oil can result in serious burns. If you do get burnt, immediately apply an ointment like Burn All onto your skin. Not only are there numerous ways to cook an egg, there are also numerous ways to fry an egg. Your customers may want the egg sunny side up or over easy. They may want it soft, medium, or hard fried. Make sure you get the specifications right. Before we move on to learn about poached eggs, would you like to learn some interesting information about eggs? One of the famous legends about why a chef's hat or toque has 100 pleats is related to eggs. It was said that the 100 pleats in the toque stood for the number of ways in which a chef could cook an egg. Amazing, right? Anyway, today we're here to master one of those 100 ways. We're going to learn how to poach an egg. A poached egg is made by cooking the egg in gently simmering water. The cooked egg has a smooth, unbroken runny yolk surrounded by a shiny, opaque oval of egg white that sits evenly around the egg. It is the major ingredient for the most popular breakfast dishes like Eggs Benedict and Eggs Florentine. However, poached eggs are a little tricky to make. Don't let that stop you though. They are completely worth the effort. So why wait? Let's get on with making poached eggs. First, we have to have a look at the various ingredients that we will require to make perfectly poached egg. You will need 1 whole egg. Note that it's always advisable to use fresh eggs so that while cooking, egg white does not spread out. Next, you need vinegar. At least 1.5 liters of water. Now, let's gather all the equipments and tools. You will need a gas range, a saucepan, a steel bowl, a perforated ladle. Now we are ready to cook poached eggs. But before we start, let me tell you that the essence of cooking a perfectly poached egg lies in mastering the cooking time and technique. So pay close attention. Light the gas range and place the saucepan on the gas range. Fill the saucepan with water such that there is at least 3 inches water in the pan. Bring the water to boil and then reduce the flame so that there are just tiny bubbles rising from the surface of the pan. Add vinegar to the water. Vinegar is added to help the egg white coagulate quickly, but be careful of the amount of vinegar you use, as it affects the taste of the egg. Another option is using lemon juice, but it does impart some lemon flavor to the egg. Next, gently break the egg into the steel bowl without breaking the egg yolk. Now, gently ease the egg into the simmering water. You can do this by holding the bowl close to the surface of the water. But be very careful so you don't break the egg yolk. If the yolk and egg white is mixed, the cooked egg won't be a poached. In case the egg white starts to spread, you can contain it using the perforated ladle. Now cook the eggs for 3 to 4 minutes. This is typically when the egg white becomes opaque and the yolk begins to thicken. The time depends upon the size of the egg. A handy tip here is, do not stir the water while you cook the egg. Now, when you see that the egg white is set while the yolk is still runny, take out the egg using the perforated ladle. This will ensure that the egg doesn't retain any water. You could also pat down the egg gently with a kitchen towel to drain the extra water. Once that's done, our poached egg is now ready to serve. Let's quickly revise how we made poached egg before proceeding. Wasn't it great to learn another simple and healthy egg recipe? I definitely enjoyed that. Didn't want to miss a single step, so I noted it all down. In case you have missed anything, here's a quick summary. A poached egg is made by cooking the egg in gently simmering water. The poached egg has evenly cooked egg white, which sits around a deliciously runny yolk. The recipe also required small amounts of vinegar. Apart from the process, it's also important to remember certain tips while poaching eggs, like the amount of water in the saucepan should be enough to submerge the whole egg. The water should be simmering, else the eggs will be toughened and will not be cooked evenly. The amount of vinegar used in the recipe should be just right. If too much of vinegar is used, the poached egg will have a distinct taste of vinegar. While putting the egg in water, be careful not to break the yolk. I'm sure you think that boiling an egg is the most basic of cooking techniques. In fact, many of you must regularly be boiling eggs in your own kitchens. But there is more to boiling an egg than you may think. Did you know, for example, that there are many different types of boiled eggs? No? The different types of boiled eggs are soft, medium, and hard. Soft boiled eggs are cooked in boiling water for 2 minutes. The main distinguishing factor is that the yolk tends to have a runny consistency. Medium boiled eggs are cooked in boiling water for 4 minutes. In this case, the yolk is only slightly runny, but the egg is otherwise set. Hard-boiled eggs are cooked in boiling water for 6 minutes. Here, the egg white and the yolk are completely set. Now that we know the types of boiled egg, we should find out which recipes can accommodate them. In short, what are the uses of boiled egg? Boiled eggs have a variety of uses in various cuisines. Most commonly, boiled eggs are used in salads. Typically, we'd use a hard-boiled egg for this. To thicken a sauce with the yolk. In sandwiches, hard-boiled eggs again. Or as a component of a healthy breakfast. Now friends, let's actually get down to cooking. In this case, the boiling part. Chef will show us how it's done. But before we do that, let's see what tools we will require. A gas range to cook on, a saucepan to boil the water in, pair of tongs to remove the boiled eggs from the hot water. Now for the ingredients, we will need 1 whole egg, vinegar, some water, and finally 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay, it looks like you have everything you will need to boil an egg. Let's start with the procedure then. First, you must light the gas range, place the saucepan on it. Add adequate water. Add some salt and vinegar to it. Do you know why we use vinegar? No? Well, it's used so that the egg doesn't spill from any cracks in shell. Anyway, let's move on. Next, bring the water to a boil and gently lower the whole egg in it. Remember to use the tongs. Cook for as long as you need. If you need a soft-boiled egg, cook for 2 minutes. Medium-boiled eggs should be cooked for 4 minutes. And hard-boiled eggs for 6 minutes. When your eggs are done, take them out with the help of the tongs and serve in a cute little egg cup. Here's a quick recap of the insanely easy procedure of boiling eggs. Today we learned how to boil an egg to perfection. But do you remember all the steps in the procedure? Are you unsure? Let's summarize what we saw anyway. We saw that an egg is boiled by placing it in boiling water. You can also start with cold water, but the cooking time will then vary accordingly. We also saw that eggs can be boiled to achieve mainly 3 levels of consistencies: soft-boiled, medium-boiled, and hard-boiled. To make scrambled eggs, the eggs are beaten into a homogeneous mixture with a touch of cream, butter, salt, and pepper. The mixture is then poured into a pan and stirred around so that it turns wispy, smooth, and creamy. Quite a delight for the taste buds. It's time to start cooking. But first, let's look at the various tools and equipments that we're going to need. We'll need a gas range, a non-stick frying pan, a flat wooden spoon, a steel bowl, a fork, or a whisk. Now let's look at the ingredients that we're going to need. Gather some eggs, butter, cream, salt, and some white pepper. Got it all? Great, then let's start cooking. Now crack open the eggs in a steel bowl . Add the cream, butter, and seasoning to the mixture. Continue whisking with a fork or whisk until it is well integrated. You want the egg white and yolk to converge into a homogeneous mixture, so don't stop until that happens. First, light the gas range. Place the frying pan on the gas and allow it to heat. When the pan is moderately hot, pour in the egg mixture slowly. Now, take the flat wooden spoon and stir the mixture continuously. Make sure you keep scraping the bottom and the sides of the pan to remove any egg that might be stuck. Keep cooking the eggs and stirring them until they become creamy and soft. The eggs should not be liquid or runny in texture. Pour it on toasted bread. The scrambled eggs are ready to serve. Before you hurry into the kitchen to give scrambling a shot, I have a few cautionary instructions. When scrambling the egg and the other ingredients, make sure that there are no solid fragments or lumps. The whole mixture should be just one homogeneous fluid. Hot oil tends to sizzle and pop. Make sure that you pour your ingredients in very carefully. Splashing oil can result in serious burns. If you do get burnt, immediately apply an ointment like Burn-All on your skin. Scrambled eggs are not just eggs. Butter and cream are also added. Without the correct seasoning, your eggs might turn out to be bland. Add salt and pepper carefully and try to taste the eggs before they are sent to the customers. Hello again. You heard Chef. Today we will be looking at one of the most famous delicacies from Italy. Yes, you guessed it right. We'll be learning about the various types of one glorious dish, pasta. And what makes great pasta? The sauce, of course. Wouldn't you like to know how to prepare both? That's settled then. But before we learn how to cook great pasta, let us first learn about the different types of pasta there are. Are you ready? Okay then. Pasta is a native dish from Italy made from kneaded durum wheat flour and eggs and formed into sheets of various shapes. It is then cooked and served in a number of dishes. It can be made with flour from other cereals or grains as well. Sometimes water may also be used instead of eggs. Pasta may be divided into two broad categories, namely dried pasta, also called pasta secca, and fresh pasta or pasta fresca. There is a wide variety in the shapes and sizes of pasta depending upon the region, locale, or town in which the variety originates. It also varies in color, which comes from natural sources like squid ink for black, spinach paste for green, and beetroot juice for pink. Pasta is a good source of carbohydrates as the starch content is very high. Variety of pasta, some types are more common than others. Some of these common pasta types are as follows. Penne is one of the most common shapes of pasta. It is called so because it resembles the shape of a pen. One of the famous penne pasta dishes is penne arrabbiata. Farfalle is a bow tie shaped pasta. It is most suited to cream and tomato based sauces. Fusilli is a long corkscrew shaped pasta made from whole wheat flour. It may be hollow or solid. Spaghetti is the famous noodle shaped pasta. It may be dried or fresh and is generally made from wheat flour semolina. Cannelloni is a 3-inch long cylindrical pasta generally baked with a filling and served with a sauce. Ravioli is a stuffed disc-shaped pasta which is basically layers of egg dough stuffed with filling. Macaroni is one of the most famous and widely consumed varieties of pasta. Mac and cheese is a food phenomenon even if you are 5 or 50. Pasta is one element of the dish. The second element is the sauce. What are these sauces, you ask? Well, sauces are thick flavored liquids which add sharpness, texture, richness, visual appeal, pungency and moisture to the food. Pasta sauces are of various types. They can be tomato-based or cream-based. Pesto, mushroom, and carbonara sauces are common pasta sauces. Backed with this knowledge of the types of pasta and sauce, I think you're now ready to learn how to actually cook pasta. Pasta should be cooked al dente. It is an Italian term which literally means to the tooth. When pasta is bitten, it should be firm and stick to the tooth. It indicates that the pasta has been cooked properly. To cook pasta, you will need the following tools and equipment. A deep boiling pan to boil the pasta in, a conical strainer to separate the water from the cooked pasta, and a gas range to cook on. Now you will need the following ingredients as well. Some refined oil. You will need this to ensure that the pasta does not stick. The pasta of your choice. Adequate amount of water to boil the pasta in. and salt to taste. Now that you have all the ingredients that you will need to cook the pasta, you must first light the gas range and place the boiling pan on it. Fill 3/4 of this pan with water. Bring the water to a boil and add salt and oil. Next, place the pasta in a conical strainer and immerse the strainer into the water. Cook until the pasta is al dente. And add some refined oil to ensure that the pasta does not stick. Store the cooked pasta in a cool place and cover it with a damp sanitized cloth or cling wrap. For your convenience, let's have a quick look at the procedure to cook a delish pasta. Once the pasta is ready, you can start thinking about the sauce. But first, let me ask you, do you know which pasta sauces are tomato-based? No? Don't fret, I'm here to help you. Concasse is a type of sauce prepared using tomato pulp. The various types of sauces made with this are as follows. Arrabbiata is a sauce made from concasse, spiced with red chili flakes and lots of garlic. Napoletana sauce contains tomato sauce along with some bay leaves, oregano, thyme, and crushed peppercorns. Bolognese contains tomato puree, tomato sauce, and beef mince. As you can see, tomato concasse is one of the core ingredients of most tomato-based pasta sauces. But how do you prepare this most important ingredient? Here's how. To prepare tomato concasse, you will need the following ingredients. Some tomato and water. You will also need the following tools and equipments. A gas range, saucepan, a perforated spoon, a ladle, muslin cloth, conical strainer, green chopping board, knife. Now that you have all the ingredients and tools, let's carry on with the process to prepare a concasse. First, remove the eyes of the tomatoes. Next, make a slight cross slit on the tip of the tomatoes. Blanch the tomatoes in hot water. Blanching is a method by which you plunge your ingredients into boiling water for a very short time. Then you plunge them into cold water to refresh them and halt the cooking process. Put the tomatoes in ice water to make sure the tomatoes don't get overcooked. Remove the skin and seeds. Remember, don't throw away the extracted tomato juice. Chef has used a muslin cloth to strain as the quantity is less. For bulk preparation, a conical strainer is used. Chop the blanched de-seeded tomatoes. And our tomato concasse is ready. Can you now prepare the concasse? Awesome! Now let me lead you through the process of preparing another classic sauce. Yes, you guessed it, Bolognese sauce. But before you can start with the preparations, you must first have the following ingredients with you. You will need some beef mince, some of the tomato concasse that you've already prepared, some tomato puree, chopped carrots, some demi-glace sauce. For those of you who haven't heard about this sauce, let me tell you that it's a rich brown sauce often used in French cuisine. Next, you'll need chopped celery, chopped leeks, olive oil, and lastly, some rich red wine. Now moving on to the tools and equipment, you will need gas range, wooden spoon, a casserole, which is basically a large deep dish which can be used both in the oven and on a gas range, a conventional ladle. Okay, now you're all set to proceed with the procedure to prepare the Bolognese sauce. First, light the gas range, place the casserole on it, and heat oil in the casserole. Next, add the chopped garlic, onion, celery, carrots, saute it till it is light golden in color. Some tomato puree, now add the beef mince and red wine. Saute the mixture till the blood dries up. Finally, add a little tomato concasse to give the sauce some texture. Stir and add some demi-glaze sauce. Store the sauce in the deep freezer and use as required. But before moving on, here's a quick recap to help you remember it.
अरे गीता, तुम मेरे घर आई ये तो बहुत अच्छी बात है। वास्तव में मुझे इंटरनेट के बारे में कई महत्वपूर्ण बातों को समझने में तुम्हारी मदद की जरूरत है।
जरूर चाचा, मैं यहाँ आपकी मदद और मार्गदर्शन के लिए आई हूँ।
देखो गीता, जब मुझे ट्रेन से कहीं जाना होता है तो